Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan, and the topic of this one is for the Scottish people. Now, I'm not sure, this may be coming into the rest of the UK, I have no idea. The only proof I've got is it's coming to Scotland, as a minimum, okay? And that is that if you are going to be going to hospital between now and probably over the Christmas period to visit any relatives who may be ill, you'll be asked to wear a mask. More likely, you'll be told. And the reason I can tell you that with such confidence is I've been given sight of an email from the National Health Service of Greater Glasgow and Clyde, which is the one I come under, and is probably not the largest in the area, but probably one of the busiest in Scotland. And it tells you exactly what you have to do throughout all the departments, and the fact that this will be getting action will be replicated in other health boards in Scotland. I'm not sure of the exact amount, but if I was to put money on it, I would suggest it will be all of them. And I'm going to read out the core brief sent out on the 5th of December, which was Friday, at 4:27, as everybody was dulling down for the weekend. Everybody that needed to was sent the following email. Now, it's a daily update. Important information. Universal use of masks in NHS GGGC, which is Greater Glasgow and Clyde, following a review of the current flu epidemiological situation, including a number of outbreaks that have led to some wards being closed. NHS GGC Infection Prevention and Control Team, in liaison with senior management, ask all staff working in clinical areas to wear fluid-resistant surgical masks. As it is Friday, it is understood that teams will take a few days to put into place. I would suggest being over the weekend might be a difficult time to put something like this in place. Staff are advised to wear the masks for the duration of their shifts, not only while delivering direct patient care. I'm going to give my opinions on this in a minute, but that to me is a bit much. I think the whole thing's a bit much, but I'll get my opinion out in the end. In addition, we ask that they follow guidance described in the National Infection Prevention and Control Manual and summarised in the core brief of the 4th of December, the day before. Management teams responsible for non-clinical areas, that would be like offices and things, support I would imagine, are also asked to review the risk and staff sickness rate as it affects them and decide on universal use of masks based on these factors. Now here's the bit that got me. The next small paragraph of one sentence was the bit that got my attention. The advice will also apply to all visitors to our hospitals, in line with actions being taken by other Scottish health boards. Now, to be fair, they don't say how many, but you would imagine something of this magnitude. When they say other, I would suggest they mean all, but I will accept if that is wrong. So, what's happened now? I've been getting this information from someone within, obviously, Greater Glasgow and Clyde Health Board. And I believe they're not alone. And the reasons I believe they're not alone is there's been some meetings with staff over the last few days, which has got them a bit concerned, where it seems to be that these things were planned well in advance. And it seems that the powers that be are passing down instructions from higher up the food chain somewhere. Now, I'm not going to start a conspiracy theory. I try to deal in facts. That doesn't mean I don't believe or trust some conspiracy theories. That just means I'll only deliver the facts. And one thing I find weird is, having been in hospitals, having visited, a pal of mine came back from South America years ago when we were in our 20s, and came back with this disease that they weren't sure what it was and had to be put in a confined space till they found out what it was and how dangerous or not it may be. There was certain protocols put in place. I can understand that. But it was only where he was. But what these nurses and care staff and everybody working in the hospital in these sort of settings has been told that they have to wear their masks regardless of where they are in the hospital. That seems a bit of overreach for me. And I've got a lot of pity for nurses. I think, a lot of them do fantastic jobs under sometimes quite damning conditions. And anybody that's ever had to wear these masks, they're not comfortable. But they have to wear them for their full shift. And, they're saying that there's sickness and stuff, so I'd imagine, if that's true, then nurses would have to work maybe some more hours than normal, overtime, etc. Bring in some bank nurses to do shifts and maybe give them some overtime as well. So I would imagine that some of these nurses and other staff, they could be in a position for over the normal hours where they have to keep the masks on permanently. That's pretty bonkers. Now, there has been suggestions that this might just be the start of a rollout of a whole host of things that we've probably seen before. Probably seen them circa 2020 without saying any words that would get my video pulled or held back at all. You can all guess what I'm talking about. And there are staff that are concerned that these are just opinions, so I can't tell you that they're factual, but there are staff with concerns that this is just the start of another whole stream of things that are coming soon, and things that we may have had in recent times, already had experience of as recently as sort of circa 2020. Now, where am I with all this? I've looked at contracts for things like vaccines. I've got my own concerns about them. I think safe and effective was one of the biggest lies told to mankind, because I've seen the contracts, I've had them in my hand. And I think in hindsight, there was a lot of things done in that period which were debatable, whether there was any benefits to protect us from a so-called virus. And what I've said back then is, if we ever had a proper risk to the nation, we were told so many lies 5 years ago that I can't see the numbers that done what they were told and done what they were asked of them to ever do that again. The ridiculous lockdowns, the mask wearing, the vaccines, all that stuff that the vast majority of people took what our governments were telling us to be true and complied with what we were asked. And my biggest problem with that whole period of lies is that if we ever do have a genuine problem, a genuine risk to life, a genuine thing that could take out quite large numbers of our people, the public will not believe you. Once bitten, twice shy. That sort of stuff. So, God knows. What is going on here? Is it genuine? Is there a real risk here of the flu? Are we seeing spikes? It's winter. So I'm not convinced. And it doesn't now matter, unfortunately, and I don't think I'm far from being normal with these thoughts. It kind of doesn't matter now what the governments and the health boards tell us, because they told us lies like safe and effective, which were evidently untrue. Then it kind of doesn't matter now if the next thing is genuine or a big massive hoax or part of some big massive plan and New World Order and all these stuff that's really above my head, right? The people of the United Kingdom and other places all over the Western world will simply not comply. And if, God forbid, we had a genuine thing where we have got genuine problems and we don't comply because we've been lied to before, I kind of think that's pretty bad. But who's to say we're getting told any truths at all? And it's in a horrific place. We should have faith in our doctors and our governments. We don't agree with them all the time, but we should be able to trust them. But by their own actions, all over Western world, around about 2020, these people in power will probably never have people's confidence at the levels they had before. It's not everybody that complied. So, there was a number of people who didn't, but the majority did. And it could come back and haunt us. And yous are despicable for putting our country and a lot of other countries at risk of things going on in the future because he's told us the biggest lie ever in the history of mankind. So if you want others to see this video, click the thumbs up, put your comments below, hit the share button. If you've not already done so, please check if you think you've done as well. If you've not already subscribed to the channel, do you think you have, just double check. If not, click the wee button again, because a few folk are getting unsubscribed, which is a bit weird. But more important than all that, unless you're the type of people that tell the public lies, big massive lies, and tell us things are safe and effective when you've got the complete opposite on the contracts that I've seen. People telling you, we don't know if they're safe, we don't know if they're effective, yet you signed the agreements and you told us the lies, and not you. But everyone else, have a great day. Cheery bye now.